Now we're going live. That last bit was I forgot to take the picture I needed for my thumbnail. Instead, it would have been my default, which is some sort of scene I've seen before. This is a little hard right now because it's a Monday and I don't have my good glasses on, so everything's all fuzzy right now. So bear with me. That includes my writing, so I might be looking straining a little bit more about that. But and take off my glasses more like this. So since I'm not reading anything right now, I'm just going to take the glasses off right now and say hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Dylan Knows. A rare Monday episode due to the fact that I had another adventure in the ER, and I will talk about that in a little bit. I had a urology meeting today to talk about my stones. That was fairly good news. But also, I got other stuff going on. I have the whole last week's worth of information. I have a drink here, but I'm full from dinner, just ate dinner. So, don't know if I'm actually going to drink it. So, it's just sort of sitting here. So, maybe I'll wait till next week to do it. Now, next weekend's going to be interesting because it's going to be my rare 2-episode weekend. The Oscars are on Sunday. So, I will do my Oscar pick show either early on Sunday or Saturday. I haven't decided yet. I might do my regular show on Saturday night and then do my Oscar show on Sunday. Like I think I usually do a few hours before the show actually starts, which is going to start early this year. It's going to start, I think, at literally the show's going to start at 7:30. I think instead of 8:30. I'll have to verify that for sure, but it's starting earlier than normal. This weekend also, Sunday, we turn our clocks back. Not back. I wish we turned back. No, we're turning them ahead. Our clocks get turned ahead, spring forward. So it is presently 8:08 p.m. here in Reisterstown. This is live at 8:08 p.m. in Reisterstown. What it looks like outside right now will be what it looks like at 9:08, which means that the sun will stay out longer, but it'll be darker in the mornings till things even out once we get closer to summer. A lot of other stuff coming out this week we'll talk about in a second, but we got new trailers. We got new start dates for shows, new production time, new no, I don't want to try any experimental features, AI features, particularly that. Casting, production ends, box office news, new food, anniversaries, death, local news, sports ball, Taylor Swift, Jason Kelce, not Travis, Jason. And we've got news through Monday. So Saturday's episode will probably be a little bit lighter since I'm doing a lot of the news that I do on Monday for the show next week is going to be now. So it'll probably be a short episode now. I kind of wish I had my other seat now because even though I don't have any pain right now, I'm feeling my gut is kind of weird right now. So real quick, why don't we talk about the eventful weekend I had so far because I got to try to finish this by 9:30. So basically, if you all been watching, I've been suffering from kidney stones since February 3rd when I had my first ER encounter and then had my first Monday show. Beginning of last Monday, I've been up and down. So there's some painful days and some not so painful days. Some days where I felt great, some days where I felt shitty, but nothing too outlandish. And then last Monday, I woke up and I had massive pain in my groin area. So I thought, okay, maybe it shifted now to the groin area, and that means it's going to be on its way out, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I was still taking the pain relievers because it was still painful. And one of the side effects of pain relievers is that it backs you up, constipation, as it were. So I was suffering from pain from not pooping for a long time, or when I do poop, it's really hard, straining work to get just a little minuscule out. So I was backed up there. I was taking, laxatives and stool softeners, and that was just exasperating it because, it was getting them wanting to poop and it was making them, squishy. But my butt was just not cooperating due to the constipation. And also I had apparently grown about 3 hemorrhoids, which were sort of blocking it as a giant wall. So let me just say last week was not a great week. So Thursday, I was just miserable. I don't know what it was, just awful, just terrible. Everything about Thursday was terrible. So I roughed it out at work, but I was decided I was probably going to take off Friday because this is just terrible. So I come home and it just keeps getting worse and worse. So eventually, about 11:30, I just said, I got to find out. It was as if I had my stones back. It was the bad pain in my back again. And I was afraid that maybe a second set was now on its way down. I needed to be sure. So I drove myself to the ER again, despite my wife wanting to drive me. I was like, no, you need to stay home and sleep and take care of the kids. So I took myself to the ER again on March 1st. I got there midnight on March 1st. They got me checked in and they did my triage about 20 minutes later. And then I was waiting for 2+ hours till they took me into the back. And then they had to do my CAT scan, which was okay. And then they were going to give me some drugs, but they didn't give me the good stuff like they gave me last time. They gave me stuff that really wasn't working. Plus, I had more of the constipation, so I still had the pain from that. And long story short, the doctor comes back with the results of my CAT scan and said, okay, your stones have dropped to like their final area. So that was what the pain was. And so they say they're probably going to be on their way out from the next day to a week. So I was like, okay. And then she said the pain is probably going to linger for that period of time. So I'll prescribe you some Percocet and Flomax. However, when I first got in there in March or February, I was in massive pain. And when you were checking in, they were saying, where do you get prescriptions? Well, I don't get prescriptions. And he's like, is there a particular place you get them? I was like, no, I really don't. It's like, well, can you give us a place? And I was like, oh, fine, CVS, because my wife's company, whose health insurance I'm on, they have a deal with CVS. And they're like, okay, which one? I was like, I wasn't thinking about it. No, they said the one in Towson's okay. And I was like, yeah, whatever, because I just wanted to get moving and get to be seen. So there's one in Towson, so that made that my primary CVS, even though there is one down the street here in Reisterstown, which is what I use when I do get prescriptions. But I didn't know the address. And so I couldn't help them out. So I just said, yeah, sure, whatever. And so it's on record as being my place for prescriptions. Now, the first visit to the ER, I had no problem getting my prescriptions at the CVS up here in Reisterstown. This one, the doctor, I think, automatically sent them over. But I wasn't sure because she gave me a copy of the prescription sheet. Usually they give me the full prescription sheet for just the oxy Vicodin or what, not Vicodin, whatever it was I said before. I can't even remember. The other oxy I was getting, and not the Flomax, but there was a little box that said these are available at CVS in Towson. And I just wanted to get home, so I was going to see if I could try to get at the CVS in Reisterstown. But then when it said you can only get these at Towson, I was like, oh, great, whatever. So I just said, okay, I'll try to ride out the pain, because Friday I was still in pain despite having the drugs in my system. I did take off of work. I was in pain, and it got pretty bad Friday night, but I was like, I can't go back to the hospital because it costs a lot of money. We've got our first bill for my first one to $1,100. It's like, did the insurance cover anything? And apparently not. And so I'm assuming we're going to get another one now about that as well. So I just like, okay, what I'll do is Saturday, if my pain is still going on, I'll drive over to Towson and I'll get my stuff. So about 2 a.m. on Saturday morning, I wake up and my bladder's like screaming, you gotta pee. So it's 2 a.m., so I'm half asleep. I was in a lot of pain, but I was able to get some sleep. So I get up in the middle of the night, kind of groggy, not really feeling any pain. And I go to the bathroom, and the pee is just a really strong stream, just like shooting right out of me. And I was like, okay. And then I started having gas, which means that, it felt like stuff was moving in my my bowels. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try to poop, but it still wasn't letting me poop. I was like, okay, but it's still a good sign, that because the farting is a sign that it's trying to break through, break down or whatever. So I'm fast forward to about, I guess, 10, 11 o'clock on Saturday morning, and my pain is gone. My back pain doesn't hurt. I've been peeing pretty regularly, like every few hours. And they've all been strong streams. I felt like a little twinge in my penis. So I'm wondering if maybe I thought the stones were now in that area. I just need to keep working that out, and then it would come out on its own. And then eventually I pooped on my own, and then I started becoming regular. So once I got all the pain medicines, I didn't take any pain medicine because I didn't have any. I cleared it out. I was back on a regular thing, and I was feeling okay. So we had my wife's 50th birthday party at her sister's house. It's an 80s themed party on Saturday. And I went to get my mom, and I dressed up as Prince. It was really cool. And we went to the party, and the party was okay. It wasn't as exciting as I was hoping to be, and it was kind of boring, to be honest. And it was some of my wife's friends were there and the family, but it just didn't seem all that exciting. It was like, okay, this is pretty cool. It was what it was. I mean, it was what it was, and we ended up staying until about 9 o'clock. So it started at 5 o'clock, which was ridiculous. So then it went till 9 o'clock, and then we left at 9 o'clock. So I take my mom back. She didn't want to stay that long, and I took the kids back with me because my daughter wanted to bake my wife some brownies for her birthday the next day. So we'd gone out and gotten the groceries that Saturday, and Dawn was going to spend the night at her sister's house because she was drinking, and I had to take my mom back. I didn't want to have her leave her party early. Actually, I think I'm going to have a sip of this because I kind of want some now. So no pain, fairly regular, all day, the rest of the day Saturday, all day Sunday. And then I had a urology meeting consult today. And so I went to the urology place, and I got there early, and they saw me early, and I gave a peed in the cup. So they had that sample, and talked to the doctor. The doctor had both of my CAT scans, the one from February and the one from March, combined to like a movie. So they were showing me how the stone was traveling and where it was. So obviously the picture was from March 1st before I had my 2 a.m. breakthrough. So he was looking at it, he's like, I think you passed the stone when you had that hard stream at 2 a.m. So that's indicative of passing a stone, is that you have a hard stream come out and you're not feeling any pain, but I won't know for sure unless we have an ultrasound. So he set me up for an ultrasound in 14 days. Because he said, if you did not pass it, that 14 days is the last window. It's a 31 to 45 day window for the kidney stones to pass. So next 2 weeks from today is day 45. So he said, you got 2 weeks. If you didn't pass it when I thought you did, that the 2 a.m. P, and you pass it during this week, let me know, my ultrasound person know, and then we'll decide if we need to have an ultrasound or not. And then we'll set up a time where we can meet regularly about getting it to make sure you don't have kidney stones again. They also said, we take the ultrasound and it's still there after 2 weeks, we might have to have an operation to go in there and break it up and clean it out personally. So I got a couple options, but I have a feeling that I think it did pass in that big stream. I did not see anything. It was 2 a.m. in the morning. I was groggy. I didn't even really, and it was dark, and I didn't really look in the toilet. I just flushed it. And plus I wanted to sit right back down because I felt like I was going to have to poop, but I ended up not. That was not until later in the day. So did that. And then, so for the most part, he said he thinks I passed it. We'll know for sure when we have the ultrasound in 2 weeks. If I don't see anything in that period, I have no pain, and they take the ultrasound, there's nothing there. Obviously, I passed it during that time or some other time, but he thinks probably that time. If it is still there, we'll have to go in and break it down, which I'm not looking forward to. So hopefully that won't be the case. I'll be praying that that's not the case, because I'm not really in any pain right now. My back doesn't hurt. My bite down doesn't hurt. But the thing is, now my butt is mad at me because they were constipated for a day and a half. So now I'm pooping a lot more, and the poop is actually irritating my butt now. That's a long story, but we don't need to get into that. So we had that. Sunday was also officially my wife's 50th birthday. So when she came back from her sister's house, we had a nice day. There was a Pokemon Go event we did. We walked. It was a beautiful day. We walked for a walk and did some Pokemon Go stuff. And then so where she wanted to go to dinner. So she was going to a Japanese steakhouse, and we hadn't been to one in the area. So I found the Ginza down in Valley Center, and we went to that. It was a phenomenal meal. The Ginza at Valley Center was outstanding. Probably the best fried rice I've ever had in my life. He sprayed sake in my mouth multiple times. It was actually pretty good. And the food itself was good. And the vibe, the ambience, everything, that was very helpful. Employees, everything was great. The chef was wonderful. And my wife had a great time, which was great. And we came back, opened presents, and then we had today, which I talked about already. So that's this weekend. Now, this upcoming week, I already had my urology event. So we have as I said before, we have the Oscars on Sunday. We turn our clocks ahead an hour, Saturday into Sunday. And also the new season of Fortnite drops on Friday. We had a mini event where you shot down the chains for Pandora's box. It's going to be a Greek myth themed season. So all that's going on this week. My daughter, meanwhile, is also her high school is doing the Tony Award winning Broadway musical SpongeBob SquarePants. And again, like she did last year for Addams Family, she's working on stage crew. She is stage right manager, I should say. And she'll be working late all this week. And then next week is Tech Week because the play is next weekend, 15th, 16th, and 17th. So that's good. So all kinds of stuff happening around here. And then before you know it, it's going to be Easter and all kinds of crazy stuff. Oh, Japanese railroads have started to create turtle tunnels. So turtles who are crossing over their areas don't get hit by the trains there. So it's like a lot of those things you've been seeing where they have the field over a highway so that the animals can walk over it while not getting hit by cars and get to the other side. So that's kind of neat. So they're doing something like that with turtles. I didn't know it was that big of a deal, but apparently it is since they made these tunnels for them. Caitlin Clark from Iowa, I believe, has broken the NCAA basketball scoring record, which was held by, I forget the guy's name, for the longest time, but she broke it to this weekend. And of course, all of a sudden, the misogynists are coming out saying, a woman does not deserve to have the scoring record. It's a lesser competition. There was no 3-point, Bill Smitrovich or something like that. There was no 3-point shot when he did it. So she should be disqualified and he should still be the NCAA scorer. That's not how it works. The baseball is more juiced than it was. So are you going to say that a Mark McGwire or Albert Bell or whoever, despite they have that whole twinge about drugs and stuff like that being involved with it, they have the home run. Are you going to say that, the home run, they should be disqualified because Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron did it without the juiced baseballs? And, they didn't have the PEDs. They didn't have the training, and it was a whole different era. It doesn't matter. It's a scoring record was broken. It was broken by a woman, which is driving the misogynist absolutely batshit crazy. And I find that very insulting and stupid. So good job for her. She's going to be going to the WNBA, probably be #1 overall pick. So good for her. Dune Part 2 brought in $82.5 million this week. It's the highest grossing film of this year so far, I believe. As expected, I think it underachieved a little bit. I think they were expecting at least $100 million. Didn't quite happen yet. So, good for them. Weird dent in the Earth's magnetic field messes up the auroras in the southern hemisphere. Yes, the auroras do have it's Aurora Borealis in the north, and it's Aurora Southeralius or something like that. It's got a different name for it, but the South, Australia and Antarctica, they do get the auroras also. They're different, but there is a weird dent in the Earth's magnetic field, which is screwing up a section of these auroras in the southern hemisphere, making them weaker and dimmer. Rings of Power showrunner, the Amazon Lord of the Rings prequel. The showrunners just signed a new 3-year deal with Amazon, so there's assumptions that even though season 2 is not set to debut until September of this year, or maybe later, depending on things. But right now, it looks like September is the time it's due to come out. They are okayed for a season 3. Rumor also is coming out about the new season of the Rings of Power. They believe that fan favorite Tom Bombadil, who was not in the original Lord of the Rings trilogy because Peter Jackson did not see his purpose, but he is a fan favorite, maybe making an appearance in the Rings of Power season 2. So find out if that actually does in fact happen. Sorry, my handwriting is absolutely shit this time, and these bad glasses aren't helping any. Jurassic World 4 has now been rumored to be named Jurassic City. So you can only assume what that's going to be about, a city full of dinosaurs. Maybe they would have evolved into people. Tron 3 is currently filming right now. It is presently called Tron Ares, and it stars Jared Leto. And we got the first view of the first behind-the-scenes picture of it. It's actually kind of a cool picture. So pretty good about that. Emily Blunt to reteam with The Rock in a UFC biopic. Okay. Lex something Davis, a female actress, has joined the cast of Suits LA. So they've got their female lead right now. A Willy Wonka experience that was set up in Glasgow was not as advertised, and a lot of people are upset about it. They said that it was more of a meth lab than a Willy Wonka experience, and they had this whole big thing that was going to be like the movie, and when they got there, it was just a bunch of like a child had made it with very minimal stuff and nothing really cool, no money put into it, but costing a lot of money to get into it. So on par with about regular stuff. Robots built from frog cells have discovered a way to self-replicate. That's not going to blow up in our face. New species of fish discovered in Chile in deep ocean. It looks kind of like a patchwork sort of fish. Got all kinds of little weird lines on it, like a quilt sort of thing. It's kind of neat looking. This past week, we had our first leap day in 4 years. So on February 29th, popped up this week. So mom born on leap day gives birth to a baby, her baby, on leap day. So they share the same birthday that happens to be leap day. William Gibson's Neuromancer to be turned into an Apple TV series. If anybody was going to make one, Apple TV Plus is the one to do it. The Brother's Son with Michelle Yeoh has been canceled after one season on Netflix. The Criterion Channel, which is a channel that usually shows and promotes very well received, reviewed, influential, just amazing films, has added Showgirls and Freddy Got Fingered to their channel, which are neither high class, fan favorite, critically acclaimed movies. So that's just kind of odd. Oh, The Wire's Wendell Pierce has been cast as Perry White in James Gunn's new Superman movie, Superman Legacy. However, we cannot call Superman Legacy anymore because James Gunn announced that filming has started on Superman on February 29th. So his movie has now dropped the legacy and is now just going to be called Superman. And we had a behind-the-scenes picture of the super suits. And they started filming this week. So Superman is presently filming right now. And The Wire's Wendell Pierce has been cast as Perry White. Anniversaries this week. Logan, 7 years old. 7 years old this week. Zodiac is 17 years old this week. Repo Man, up all night, every night. It's 4 years old this week. Dream a Little Dream came out in 1989, so 89, 99, 2009, 2019, 35 years ago. Dream a Little Dream came out with the Coreys. And Moonlighting premiered in 1985, which would make it 39 years ago. So they're good on that. Also, I forgot local news. Brazilian steakhouse, Fogo de Chão, will be coming to Towson, taking the place of, what's the name of that Chinese restaurant that's no longer there? Don't remember, but Fogo de Chão is coming to Towson. The only one we have right now is in Baltimore City, and it's pretty good from what I heard. Deaths this week. Chris Mortensen, long-term sports announcer, reporter for ESPN. I think pretty much there from the beginning. Passed away this week. Ed Ott, former World Series catcher, passed away this week. Mark Dodson, the voice of Salacious Crumb in Return of the Jedi, and a couple of the Gremlins and Gremlins, passed away this week. And Ins at Full, a fashion icon, died at the age of 102. Her look apparently influenced the Edna character from The Incredibles. That's it for this page, I think. Yep. All right. The Strangers, Rennie Harlin's trilogy remake of the home invasion horror film that starred Liv Tyler, gets a new trailer. It's due out May 17th. It's your typical spooky, creepy horror film, home invasion, weird masks, spying on people in the shower, axes coming through doors, guns, stuff like that. Pretty wild stuff. Quiet people. Dana Ramirez, Ariella Benyera, Tati Gabrielle, and Spencer Lund have been cast in The Last of Us Season 2, which is set to debut in 2025. Liam Neeson's Naked Gun remake is set for July 15th, 2025. I think that one's directed by the guy who created Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane. Godzilla Minus One wins Best International Film at the Seattle Film Festival, Film Critics at the Film Critics Society. I'm sorry, I should say that. Lakers fans broke into the Clippers. This is basketball. Lakers fans broke into the Clippers' new arena that hasn't been finished yet and trashed it. That's just the pinnacle of shitty behavior. And I hope they get their butts kicked. I hope the Lakers do something to make amends to the Clippers. Ava Longoria and Eugene Levy have joined the cast of Only Murders in the Building Season 4. The iconic Nicole Kidman AMC commercial is now leaving AMC theaters, and a new one will be making their way in there soon. This Nicole Kidman iconic commercial has been around since like 2021, 2022, when movie theaters started opening up for more business, and is a way, has her walking through an AMC theater talking about how important film is, stuff like that. Nicole Kidman's a fellow June 20th baby, so I gotta like her for that. And it's an interesting commercial. It's a really nice movie theater too, where she's at, so that's pretty cool. Kate Middleton, the Duchess of York, I guess, who's married to King Charles' son, has not been seen in public for 2 months. So, of course, when something like that happens, all the wacko conspiracy nuts come out of the woodwork. And the biggest one right now, which is, again, a misogynistic insult to the Duchess of York, is basically that she got a Brazilian butt lift to make her ass look more taut and plump. And it takes apparently 2 months for it to heal, which is why they were saying that she went and got that. That's the dumbest thing in the world. I don't know what the situation is. And honestly, I'm not concerned about it because I'm not British and I couldn't care less the comings and goings of the royal family. So, but there's that. There's always going to be a conspiracy theory somewhere. Lytton is the community day in Pokemon Go for March. That's Fire Kitty, so that's pretty cool. This is a bad idea, and I think they're dialing it back now. And AMC theaters were contemplating doing this, and it failed because it didn't work. But Wendy's is, I think they still are considering something called price surges, which means that during the heavy times of their restaurant, lunch, dinner, you're open from if you're open for breakfast as well. Let's just say you're open at breakfast, you're open at 7 a.m. and you close at 10 p.m. From 7 to 9, and from 11:30 to 1, and then from 5 to 7. The prices for your food, according to this price surging, will go up, meaning a Wendy's quarter pound burger, whatever their fucking burger is, or a Frosty or whatever, that normally costs, let's see what's a good price, about $2.50. They might be on the low side, but let's just say $2.50, and has been $2.50 for the whole day. During these price surge times, the numbers I gave you, lunch, breakfast, dinner, would be raised to about maybe $4.50. So basically, you're not getting anything extra. They're just charging you more money during the heaviest time of the day so they can make more money. And they think people are going to do this, are going to buy it. AMC, I think, was a theater that was thinking about doing that they were going to get rid of matinee pricing for first run popular films at certain times of the day and jack it up to regular prices, but it didn't work. So they dialed it back or didn't do it at all. And Wendy's getting a lot of flack for that because it's basically price gouging for the most part. It's just a way for them to make more money because they know people are coming in for lunch, for dinner, for breakfast, and are coming to get food. So why not charge them more to make more money because they're there to eat their breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So if you decided that you wanted to have your lunch at 3 o'clock or push your lunch at 3 o'clock and have Wendy's, then you get your regular price. But if you can't push your lunch to 3 o'clock, it has to be at 1 o'clock or noon or whatever, you're going to have to pay that $4.50 price if you want a Wendy's burger. Hopefully they'll get rid of it. It's a bad idea. It's a bad look, and I don't see how PR can spin it as a good thing for the consumer, particularly how people are bitching and moaning about the slightest increase in gas. I've been hearing these fucking commercials again. Gas prices are so expensive. No, they're fucking not. They're actually right where they should be. They keep ping-ponging between $3 and $3.40. That's all I've seen here in my area. Now, it might be worse out where you are, but gas prices are nowhere near as bad as they were. And it's not the fault of the U.S. government nor the President of the United States. It is greedy bastards who run these corporations. And the fact that we've been able to have a steady gas pricing area after having those fluxes where it went up a little high, but these people keep doing commercials like, oh, gas prices are so high because they're pushing their cash bag gas app or whatever bullshit. Oh, gas prices are so high. No, they fucking aren't. They are the right amount of money right now. This is what gas prices cost in 2025. You're never going back to 75 cents a gallon. You're never going to go back to $1.99 a gallon like you were during COVID because nobody was fucking driving because everybody was at home trying to not die. So no one was driving, so there was no gas, so they had fucking surpluses. So of course they're going to drop the gas. Someone's like, we got to get rid of this gas. We're not making any money. And then once everything got back to normal, that's when they started jacking the price up because people started driving more. It's like, oh, now we can push it up for $4 or $5 a gallon. People will pay it because they're getting back in their cars. And then luckily President Biden came in and was able to make wheel and deal, get some pipeline running again, making some deals here and there, and is keeping gas prices at a reasonable price, which I find interesting is that last year, Saudi Arabia, and it still possibly could happen when we get close to November, but Saudi Arabia was threatening that they were going to jack up prices for oil during the primary time to make people vote for Donald Trump because he'll bring the gas price back down, which he won't, by the way, because he doesn't control them. But Joe Biden, was able to do a switch, double take, and was able to get more oil pumping through our regular American pipelines. So we only have to periodically buy stuff from the Saudis to refill our stuff, but we've got a pretty solid, substantially. That's why you see these price fluctuations going from like $3 to $3.25 to $3.30. And it's amazing how crazy it can be. I went past Wawa. It was $3.23 a couple days ago, jumped to $3.25, and was $3.25 longest time, was $3.25 this morning, and then on the way home from work today, $3.27 now. There was a time period where in the morning it was like $3.19, and in the evening it was $3.39, and then a couple days later it was back down to $3.25. The gas prices are just ping pong everywhere. And then even funnier is there's a 7-Eleven and a Sunoco down near my work, which are having a price war. 7-Eleven right now is $3.09 and the Sunoco is $3.08. And so they've been going back and forth at it. If there was a government control of gas prices, why are these gas stations only charging $3.09 and $3.08, and then just about a mile up the road, Royal Farms, Exxon, whatever, are jacking it to $3.25 and $3.30? Answer me that, you dumb shits. West Virginia town had a candlelight vigil for the Hooters that closed down, but that was also done in a good way, that it helped raise money for a family in need. So good on that, I guess. The Mandalorian game has been canceled at EA Sports, but the Mandalorian and Grogu movie has been set to be filming in California, though it will be having a smaller budget than the TV show. The WB is apparently backing out of their partnership with Paramount. They were going to join forces and combine to one big corporation. They've decided against that now, so they're not going to do that anymore. The first look at the, I guess it's the Bill Skarsgård or Stellan Skarsgård Crow remake, which I've been talking about for a while, is now due out June 7th. And it's very bleh. I do not like how it looks at all. It's very Jared Leto Joker looking. And does not look like a really good Crow movie to me. I mean, nothing's going to touch the Brandon Lee one, but still, it looks shitty. So we'll see how that happens. Let me see if I can just, because I'm getting a little bit of a pain in here, but let's just let the belly hang out here. So I am wearing pants, but I've just unbuckled them and unzipped them, so nothing to worry about there. Oh, a little Cravololo will return to voice Moana in the sequel. There was talk that the Rock and her would not return to their characters for the sequel that's due out on Thanksgiving, but apparently she has signed on. No word about the Rock yet, so we'll find out if he does in there as well. York County College up in Pennsylvania is the first school in Pennsylvania to be allowed to perform the high school college version of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Now, a couple weeks ago, maybe been a month or so ago, I mentioned this on the show. Broadway plays create, because you can't have the spectacle of Broadway at a high school or a college for musicals, but you can still make some money off of it, and you can create a high school college version of a Broadway musical that they can perform, and then the school would have to rent it, I guess. I guess that's how it kind of works, and that's why my daughter's school is doing the Tony Award-winning Broadway show SpongeBob SquarePants, and why they did the Broadway show of the Addams Family, but it was reduced down to a high school college level. So they're doing that because you can't do everything that they do at Broadway, obviously. So that same thing with Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. They've reduced it down, but they are allowing high school and colleges now to do it if they want to. So York College is actually the first college I know of is going to be performing the show, the high school college version of it. It's the first one in Pennsylvania, at least, but I think it's also the first in the world because I haven't heard it anywhere else. Despite the failure of Madam Web, a Spider-Woman movie is in the works. Again, it's any number of things. Sony, but just might not have been knowing exactly what they wanted, what they do. They had a cast of gorgeous hotties, and the film just didn't resonate with people. I don't know if it's the misogynists who didn't want to go out and see it because it had female leads in it, or as a lot of people are saying, the story is kind of shitty and scatterbrained, and don't know. I haven't seen it. Same thing with Morbius. They said that it didn't do well because it was just not a very well thought out script. So is that just one of Sony's problems? But they have the rights to stuff, so we'll see what they continue to do that. The hell did I write this? Oh, Antiques Roadshow will be filming at the Baltimore Zoo. You remember Antiques Roadshows? The shows on PBS where antique experts go to a location and people bring their antiques and they get a look at by the antique experts, and sometimes they find diamonds in the rough, sometimes they find shit, and it makes for interesting television. They talk about the history of it, how the stuff was created, why it was created, stuff like that. It's actually a really interesting show. We used to watch it all the time. My wife and I, before we had kids, that's what we used to do in the evenings was we'd work and then we'd come back from work and just plop down in front of TV and just watch TV. And we have watched all kinds of stuff, cooking shows, Antiques Roadshow, stuff like that. So it's good to see they're coming. It's still around. It's coming to the Baltimore Zoo of all places. So that's kind of cool. Wolverine's the animal, not the character from Marvel Comics, is surprising people in Oregon by returning. Now, apparently the Wolverine species that have been are a species that has been in California before and in Oregon, and is mostly more up in the Canadian area with Michigan and stuff like that. But they made their way to the West Coast, and then they hadn't been seen out there for a while. Now they're starting to reappear in the wild out in Oregon and California. So good on them for that. Oh, a UK company has decided they wanted to do an experiment. So they tried a 4-day work week. And what everyone expected to happen did. Now, businesses don't want to do a 4-day work week because that's one less day for them to make money, to exploit their workers, and to make more money for themselves, despite the fact that a lot of companies have high turnover. They need days off. Like today, I had the urologist meeting. We had a lot of people out today. People have issues with their family, illnesses, money issues themselves, and sometimes sometimes they're working 2-3 jobs also, and they need a break. And sometimes they just have to take a day off from one of their jobs. So, but the companies don't give a shit about employees. They pay them terrible wages and are assholes about paid time off, and expect you to do stuff and get on you if you miss a lot of time. And they wonder why there's high turnover. Well, as I said, as we expected, UK said, let's make a test here. Let's see if we had a long weekend and we only worked 4 days a week and we had a 3-day weekend, how would our workers react? They were thinking about the workers first and foremost. Golly, what do you know? After doing a 4-day work week for about a year, lower turnover rate, much happier employees, and more efficiency. Because they have an extra fucking day off where they still get paid. Like we do on the weekends. Well, we don't get paid on the weekends, but an extra day off. But we make enough money during the 4-day work week that it's not, losing a day 5 is not going to hurt our money. In fact, it'll make it better. That's what this plan was for, to see if they can, if they pay it they pay 5 days for 4 days work and give them a long weekend. How's it work? And of course, as I said, expected, employees are happier, turnover is less, and the employees are more efficient. Shocker. This Antoine Fuqua Michael Jackson biopic continues to just blow up everywhere. It's going to be an amazing film. I think it's going to be one of the biggest films of 2025. People, I think, are sleeping on it. I think people are not expecting it to be a big thing. I mean, they expect it to be okay, but I think this film is going to be fucking huge. I think it's going to be a lot of Oscar nominations for it. Just everything I've seen about it and heard about it makes it seem like it's going to be like one of the best musical biopics out there. So it's on Michael Jackson. So of course you're going to have the Jackson 5. Now, hopefully, maybe they'll have the sisters also. I'd love to see who's going to portray Janet and Jackson in here, and the other one that did like pornography and stuff like that. But she was in Playboy. But it'd be fun to see who his sisters are going to be cast as. But his brothers have all been cast. Now, again, another thing that makes this film interesting is they're doing past and present. So it's not just going to be focusing on his later years or his Thriller years or whatever. It's going to focus on him as the Jackson 5, young Mikey Jackson, as a 10-year-old boy, getting beaten by his father and becoming a superstar with his brothers. Then as a 20-year-old, breaking off on his own and starting a extremely huge career. His brothers are in the rear view. And then his strange eccentricities, I guess, that later on in his life. So that's what it sounds like. This whole movie is going to cover his whole life, which is great. So they're going to need to cast both young and old versions of Michael, which they did, and young and old versions of the Jackson 5, which they just did. Jaden Herville and Jamal R. Hembren will be playing Jermaine Jackson. Joey Lynn Lindren Hunter. I'm sorry, it's like Joey Lynn Linden Hunter and Trey Harlan will be playing Merlin Jackson. Didn't know there was a Merlin. Judah Edwards and Ryan Hill, will be playing Tito Jackson. And Matthew Logan McIntyre and Joseph David Jess will be playing Jesse Jackson. Whatever the other brother I'm missing out on that one. It's only, I don't know who that is. Jack Jackson, maybe. So there's the brothers have been cast. I'd love to see who's going to be cast as the sisters. That'd be awesome to find out. So there's all kinds of weird stuff on TV now, and we got our trailer for the next weird thing, which is probably going to be a huge hit. Chicken Nugget trailer. It looks like it's a Japanese or Korean film about a young girl. I think it's Japanese. A young girl who gets turned into a chicken nugget. Yes, the chicken nugget. Yes, the breaded chicken nugget thing. And her admirer has to figure out a way to keep her alive and turn her back into a girl. It's going to be a TV show on Netflix, comedy series, and it sounds like an anime idea, but it's going to be a live action comedy TV show. So that's coming to Netflix. I didn't get a date on that, but the first trailer for that came out. It's definitely unique. It's called Chicken Nugget. I wish I could say this for the last story of the week, but I still got a page and a half left to do. Christian TV host says vegetarian hamburgers, made with the not real beef that you can get now, is Lucifer's plan. Yes, the Lucifer, the devil. Lucifer's plan to change human DNA. All right, be with me here. So that they cannot be cleansed as human, classified as humans, and cannot be saved by God. A Christian TV host says these never meat burgers or these vegetarian hamburgers that look like hamburgers, taste like hamburgers, but there's no meat in them. People who eat them and created them is a creation of the devil to change human DNA so that they will not be classified as human and cannot be saved by God. And the devil can claim them. Yeah. Anniversaries. The Lego Movie is 10 years old this week. Donnie Brasco is 27 years old this week. Pretty in Pink, 1986. So that would be 40, 39, 38 years ago. Deaths. Michael Virgil Joss. A skier, I guess, looks like. Passed away this week. I couldn't read my handwriting. Richard Lewis, the comedian who grew up with Larry David, was in Curb Your Enthusiasm, was in Robin Hood Men in Tights, and I got to find out the name of this. He was on a long-term sitcom with Jamie Lee Curtis. Let me just verify this. Anything But Love. That's right. He did that with Jamie Lee Curtis. Robin Men in Tights, Wagons East, Once Upon a Crime. He was in Leaving Las Vegas, Vamps, Drunks, The Wrong Guys, Daddy Dearest, Seventh Heaven, comedy albums, Weekend in the Country, The Aristocrats, Rude Awakening. Was in the Hercules TV show, Dr. Katz TV show, was in A Gnome Named Norm. And he was like best friends with Larry David, so he passed away this week. Anything But Love, that's what it was. Lord Jacob Rothschild one of the big members of the Rothschild banking family, died at the age of 87. And that's all for that one, I think. A page and a half to go. Yeah, this chair, it's got to be this chair because I'm not feeling pain in my back, but I'm feeling pains on the sides here. This is all stuff that came out today. Big news is Jason Kelce. Everyone knows him. Everyone knows his brother Travis is dating Taylor Swift. Jason Kelce and Travis do the Cleveland Heights, or not New Heights, New Heights podcast. He's a center for the Eagles. He had a documentary made about him. His wife is awesome. His 3 kids are awesome. At the end of the playoffs this year, he said he was going to retire. Then he came back after press conferences. There's a lot of disappointment, stuff like that. I wasn't thinking about saying I'm not going to retire, and if I still have discussion to think about, I might, but I haven't made that decision just this minute. He talked to Kylie, his wife, his family, talked to his teammates, his coaches, and he's finally decided for real. Jason Kelce is retiring after 10, 12 years as a center, one of the best centers in NFL history. In 5 years, he will definitely probably be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So we're looking in 2029, the class of 2029, he will probably be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So we'll see what happens with that. So he retired officially this week. So we'll see what happens. France, Vive la France, has voted to make abortion a guaranteed right in their constitution. Basically, they add an amendment to their constitution that says, we guarantee your rights to an abortion. This is what the fucking United States need to do, so these pathetic Christian nationalist bullshit assholes can just shut the fuck up about stuff. It needs to be in the Constitution so that it's almost impossible to not impossible, but it's going to be a lot harder to get rid of abortion, and you cannot ban it if it's in the Constitution. And in order to repeal the law, the amendment, or whatever, you need 2/3 majority of not just Congress, but to get it onto a ballot measure, but 2/3 of the country have to say, yeah, we don't want this anymore. And that's not going to happen. See, this is what we need to do. That's what we need to vote in November, and why we need to the Democrats need to take back the House and the Senate and keep the presidency, and kick out all the Republicans so that they have a vast majority in both, and then we can start passing more laws. And I guarantee you, if we put abortion up as a constitutional amendment, I think we would get it passed, to be honest. But we'll see. But France has, so they are the first country in the world to guarantee that abortions are legal and all that stuff. Heinz pickle ketchup. I hate pickles, and Heinz pickle ketchup just sounds disgusting to me. This doesn't, though. Ben & Jerry's has, they've got a lot of flavors you can get at the grocery store, but they also have, they're up in Vermont where they are made. They have their own little side shops where they release flavors that they don't release to the public. So there's a lot of different flavors that no one has tried before, unless they've gone up there to try them before. Well, one of those, the Marshmallow Sky, is actually making its way down to everybody in a limited edition. So it's not going to be around for long and not going to have too many of them. But Marshmallow Sky is marshmallow ice cream with a marshmallow swirl in it, and chocolate chip cookie dough and chocolate chip cookie dough mixed in together. The person who tasted it and reviewed it said that the marshmallow ice cream is not overpowering. They thought it was going to be way too sweet. It isn't. It's got a definite vanilla flavor to it, because vanilla and marshmallow are like the flavors you get when you eat a marshmallow. And so there's a definite vanilla flavor to it, but it's not like their typical vanilla flavor. So it's definitely something unique and great about that. So that's pretty cool. Oh, I don't know, a very strong jet stream pushed three passengers planes past the sound barrier. So I guess when they're flying, it pushed them to do that. What the hell am I writing here? I don't know. This is. The fuck is this? I have no idea what this says. India plans to launch a probe to Mars, and they're going to add a helicopter to their probe. So that's good. Oh, sorry, it took me a while. When will the Old Guard 2 be released? Film was finished a year and a half ago. Sorry, that took me forever. Charlize Theron's popular movie on Netflix based on a comic book, The Old Guard, had a sequel, and it was made a year and a half ago and has not been on Netflix's schedule. So they're trying to figure out when it will be released. However, something came up this week where there was some sort of Netflix event, and Charlize Theron was there. So we're assuming it'll probably be very soon. Saw 11, yes, 11 is coming September 27th, 2024. Why not? After the success of last year's Saw revival. Why the hell not? Let's continue to do movies about torture. Why not? Girls on the Bus trailer, didn't watch it, but it's Melissa Benoist's first role since she played Supergirl. So go ahead and check that out if you like that. A super DVD has just been created and can hold more movies than you can ever watch. For example, it can hold every single episode of the 20 plus years of Law and Order and still have room for at least 100 plus movies. We're talking 20 episodes, 22 episodes, 20 years worth of ones, like 400 some, 400, 500 some episodes, hour long episodes, and then like another 100 to 200 movies can be put on the super DVD. Now, I don't know how that would work. I mean, I guess you could say, here's every movie from 1980 on one DVD. You could do something like that, maybe with special features and stuff like that. So who knows, maybe, but that's crazy. Let's go back up here. Shane Black, Jim Hertzfeld, and many other top writers have created a new concept for writers, a new way to get writers to be able to reach professionals to become professional writers, to get professionals to look at their writing and have them critique it and give them lessons on it as sort of an FU to AI stuff. That way they say, if a lot of production companies going with AI because it's cheaper and also it's more convenient, but this group is making it so it's more convenient that regular human writers can get access to production companies, so they're not like, it takes forever to get somebody in the door here, but these or we don't want to deal with people who just come up the door and say, I've got a concept. They will be backed by popular writers, Shane Black, James Hertzfeld, stuff like that, who will back them up and say, hey, I'm Shane Black. I made a bunch of movies for you that were very successful. I got some young talent here that want to pitch you some stuff here. Why don't you listen to them instead of doing AI bullshit? So I think that's a pretty cool idea for them. So they go ahead and do that. Brian Michael Bendis has signed a first look deal with Amazon to develop his vast cadre of independent projects, including Jinx, Pearl, and Murder Inc. So you're gonna get more, everybody's like, oh, comic book fatigue. Those are all comic book movies, all comic books based on comic books, but they're not superhero related. They're different style things. And Brian Michael Bendis, who has a history of being in the business, is now making a deal to stay in the business. As I said, the Oscars are coming up on Sunday. I will have my Oscar show probably Sunday afternoon. And Ryan Gosling will actually be singing I'm Just Ken at the Oscars. So that's pretty cool. Another one I can't read. I have no idea what this says, so I'm just going to question mark that one. Trailer for The Watchers, Dakota Fanning's new movie, which is produced by M. Night Shyamalan and directed by his daughter, Ishirn Night Shyamalan, debuted, and it looks positively creepy. Looks, to be, what you kind of expect from Shyamalan, but different than her dad. So pretty good to see how that's going to work out. Speaking of her dad, M. Night Shyamalan has a new movie coming out here that stars Josh Hartnett, who's having a time for himself right now. And he says that M. Night's new movie is bizarre, dark, and wild. So that could be pretty interesting to see how that is. The Last of Us is season 2 is set to come out in 2025. The rare phantom jelly fish has been spotted off the California coast. Lay's IHOP Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity potato chips. Yes, they made potato chips based on that IHOP flavor. So they're out there now. That's not a joke. It truly is. Season 2 of the Daryl Dixon spinoff is set to debut summer of 2024. It's called The Summer of Carol. And it's a new story arc with Carol rejoining up with Daryl Dixon for a new adventure. Pokemon Day was this past week also, and the Pokemon Company announced a new Pokemon game coming in 2025. Their first Pokemon Legends game was Arceus, which took was a remake of a Gen 2 or Gen 3 and set it in the old past before Pokeballs and all kinds of stuff were created, and that this shows the first people trying to catch Pokemon, how they were much more wild and not as domesticated as they were now. It was a unique take on a reimagination of a generation of Pokemon and was a hugely popular game. My wife and son played it, both loved it. And it added unique ideas and different styles to the game that keeps it from being the same old boring game. Well, they're going to try it again. This one is Pokemon Legends Z to A, new game coming out in 2025. People who watch some of the trailers say it looks like instead of it being the far, 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 far past, this is going to be the far, 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 far future with, and don't know which generation it's going to be covering, Unova, I think maybe. And it's going to take a look at new versions of those in the future and futuristic Pokemon balls and gyms and stuff like that. So it should be interesting. Throughout 2025, we'll have more information next year or closer to that as well. Dirt Cake Oreos is the new flavor of Oreos due out here really soon. Still can't read what that is, so we're just going to go ahead and ignore that. My favorite, Anne Hathaway, will be reteaming with Jake Gyllenhaal now for the third time, as well as Chris Marlin and Carter Spring. in the new season of Beef. It's rumored that the Beef was the critically acclaimed, award-winning series about two people engaged in a road rage battle. That was a self-contained storyline. It was really popular. That the second season is going to be, since it's an anthology, is going to be set about two couples as they square off against each other. And I'm assuming that since they've worked together before, Anne Hathaway, Jake Gyllenhaal will be together, and Charlie Morton and Carly Spring, whatever her name is, will be the other couple. So again, it's rumored that they're going to be involved with it, but it would not surprise me. Extinct fossil fish dating back 420 million years has been found alive in Madagascar. No, not an unusual thing. That happens all the time. So the fact that we have a creature that's been around for 420 million years and still around, much like the coelacanth was, is fascinating to see that. One of my most anticipated movies of 2024, actually, it's two movies, was Kevin Costner's return to directing an epic Western. He always does his best work when he's directing epic Westerns. And I've been talking about this one for a while. Horizon. An American Saga is the name of the movie. The first trailer for it came out, and as expected, sweeping vistas, locales, gorgeous costuming, makeup, lighting, interesting story, a lot of big actors in it. It is truly the return of an epic. It is an epic trailer. And the thing about it is it's doing something that hasn't been done in a really long time, because it is an American saga, and because Americans can't sit for more than 3 hours at a movie or whatever. Kevin Costner made this film as like a 6-hour epic, has split it into two parts. One part will be coming out in June of this year. The second part will be coming out in August of this year. So I'm looking forward to that. I think I will watch them both in the movie theaters. It's probably going to be the best way to see it. Probably in IMAX. Also, just check the trailer out for yourself. It's epic scale. It's return to Spartacus and the old school Gone with the Winds. There's just those epic movies, greatest story ever told. Cleopatra style look to it. And Costner, when he's in his element and when he's on. He looks like he's on, and we'll see what happens with that. A Humoctopus is the newest cryptid out there. Humoctopus was spotted bothering a group of school children at a Washington State elementary school. Multiple kids drew the same picture of a octopus-human hybrid sort of creature looking at them. Don't know if it was just imagination or if it was all one big scam or whatever, but the Humoctopus is your new cryptid here in America. It's a food, I think. It looks like Gradish Frito, red leaf flower, something like that is what it looks like. Oh, well, the Producers Guild Award came out last week as well. Oscar's not that far, as I said, next are on Sunday. Let me just delete that out. Delete this out. Delete that out. Producer, there we go. Producers Guild Awards 2024. Okay. The winners. All right. Best film. This is the Producers Guild of America, 35th anniversary. Best film, Oppenheimer. Christina Steinberg, Best Animated Theatrical Film for Spider-Man Across the Multiverse. What the hell? Animated Theatrical Film. Christina Steinberg, Chris Miller, Amy Pascal, AVR Red, Phil Lord, winners for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Episodic TV comedy, Tyson Bidner for the Maddie Matheson, Renee Gube, Cooper Wade, Josh Sr., Joanna Kalo, and Chris Restorer won for The Bear. So these are just the producers. The Norman Felton Award winner goes to Frank Rich, Kevin Mezek, Susan Stanton, Adam McKay, Jane Tranter, Georgia Pritchard, Ted Cohen, Dara Schnapper, Gabriel Mahan, Francesca Gardner, Will Tracy, John Brown, Lucy Preble, Mark Myloi, Tony Roche, Will Farrell, Scott Ferguson, Jesse Armstrong for Secession. The Milestone Award, Charles King is the winner for that. Producer of documentary, Matthew Heineman, Joden Oken, Lauren Domino for American Symphony. Producer, stream TV film, Charlie Brooker, Annabelle Jones, Jessica Horwitz for Beyond the Sea. Outstanding producer of limited series television, Inman Young, Jake Schreier, Lee Sung Jin, Matthew Medlin, Ali Wong, Ravi Nandan, Ali Reich, Stephen Yoon, Kerry Kemper, Alex Russell, Alice Jew, Jess Henderson, Savi Cathay for Beef. Just talked about that real quick. David O. Selznick Award goes to Martin Scorsese. Nonfiction TV, Milos Balak, Ryan Reynolds, Aaron Lovell, Nick Frankel, George Dewey, Molly Milstein, Patrick Gouing, Josh Driscoll, Jeff Looney, Alan J. Bloom, Patrick McGarvey, Brian Rowland, Liz Spano, Shannon Owen, Robert McKelney for Welcome to Wrexham. PGA Innovation Award winner, Body of Mine. Producer, Game and Competition TV, Jen Pasafoy, Randy Barbato, Tom Campbell, Michelle Mills, Carson Kressley, Sarah Cordy, Ross Matthews, Michelle Visage, Lisa Steele, Ashley Dabney, Michael Seligman, John Polly, Jeremy McGovern, Mandy Salangson, RuPaul, Fenton Fox Bailey, Stephen Korf, Tim Polozza, Alicia Gargano Magnana, Theron Smothers for RuPaul's Drag Race. Damn. The Norman Lear Award goes to Gail Berman. Episodic Sports Program, Beckham, Season 1 winner. Live Entertainment Variety Sketch, Stand Up and Talk, Whit Conway, Tim Cavell, Charles Wilson, Megan Peck Shub, Kate Mullaney, Wynn Van Dusen, Matt Passett, Marion Wang, Chris McDaniel, Catherine Owens, John Oliver, Kay Foley, Laura L. Griffin, Liz Stanton, Jeremy Chaban for Late Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. Short form program, Secession, Controlling the Narrative. Producer, Children's Program, Sesame Street, Season 53, and those are your winners. So Oppenheimer came up big, as expected. So making things a lot clearer now. Anniversaries, Falling Down, 31 years ago this week. Deaths, Kenneth Mythbin. Matheson, Star Trek actor, died at the age of 50. Chris Gotham, Freddy vs. Jason, Once Upon a Time. It's a TV show. He's the actor. Died at the age of 48. Finally, the last batch of stuff. This is all stuff that came up this week. Came up today. So this is all Monday stuff that would have been on next week's show, but I did now because I wanted to kill some more time here because I've got about 5 minutes before I need to shut this down. Actually, 10 minutes. So I really want to push it. House of Dragons Season 2 is set to debut in June on Max. Rebecca Ferguson to star with Chris Pratt and Timur Beckman Beller's detective sci-fi thriller Mercy. Grizzly bear starting to wake up at the Baltimore Zoo now that springtime's coming. The black and white Ripley trailer set for Netflix on April 4th came out this week as well. The Chris Pratt, Samuel L. Jackson, Garfield trailer debuted this week, comes out May 24th. Get a general idea what the story is about. The Bondsman, Dana Harriman, Beth Grant, and others join Kevin Bacon in his Undead Bounty Hunter TV show. Mike Evans re-signs with the Buccaneers. Russell Wilson is released by the Denver Broncos. That's your sports ball event of the week. Bad Boys 4 finishes filming this week. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour Disney Plus trailer came out this week as well. 126 inches of snow has dropped in the mountains of California over the last couple days. And finally, happy birthday to the world's oldest person who celebrated her 117th birthday this week. Oscar show, 544. All right, so next week, as I said, we have not one, but 2 episodes of Dylan Knows coming out. Turn clocks ahead. Oscars. So Saturday, it looks like Saturday night, we'll probably do a regular episode of Dylan Knows, as long as nothing happens to me or anybody. We'll do my regular episode of Dylan Knows, covering stuff that hits Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then Sunday afternoon, we will do my Oscar show, which is usually about 30 to 45 minutes, where I pick the winners of every category. And you can take my advice and follow along when the show starts, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as well on my Saturday show too. Like, I'll get the actual official time, stuff like that. But I will give you my picks for the Oscars, and the week after that will be St. Patrick's Day weekend, and we'll talk about how well I did. Looking at now, there's a bunch of dead certs. I think I've figured out who I'm going to go with on a contested award. So we're moving right along here. So a little bit of pain, but nothing in my back. I think my stones are gone. We'll find out for sure. But back to the grind again. Thank you for hanging out with me on this rare Monday episode. Hopefully won't see another one again for a really long time, because I don't expect to go to the ER ever again, but we'll find out. That actually happens. So on that note, I think I got to take it. I got to take a poop here. So yeah, I'm a regular case now. So all right, again, let's reiterate next week, 2 episodes of Dylan Knows. Saturday night, what happens Tuesday through Saturday in the world of pop culture and whatever I find interesting that I think you might find interesting: science, food, movies, TV shows, awards, all kinds of fun stuff. And then Sunday afternoon, a few hours before the actual Oscars, come back for my hugely popular Oscar pick show, where I tell you who will win the Oscars. And I've been doing pretty good lately, so you better listen to me. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me. I do have to go to the bathroom. I got to get my kids, my son anyway, into his shower stuff, and get myself ready for bed as well, because I have my first full day of work in a long time, in 2 days. So we'll find out for sure. All right, guys. See you later, and thanks for watching. Bye.